Hey everyone, and welcome to the Limitless Living vlog. This is the first one. You guys are in for a journey. I want to share about what's going to be involved and why you want to come along for this journey in a moment. But this is really raw. I'm kicking this off because this is part of the journey. I want to show you something about not just this vlog coming to life, but the way in which I live. And that's something you'll see under the Limitless Living tagline on this YouTube channel. It says, "A life worth sharing." And what I mean by that is if I can share something with you in which I've grasped in the past 10 years in the way I've been living my life and ignite something that is so treasured to me and special that's allowed me to live a life far beyond what I would have ever imagined over the past 10 years, I'm done. Just if I ignite that in one of you, just one of you. And I know again, because I've been for the past 10 years working with hundreds of people in opening them up to a way of life that is within all of us. And it's not something I can give to you. It's not something that anyone can give to you. It's already yours and it's already there. And when you start to access it, you start to realize how hard sometimes life didn't have to be. So I'm very excited about what I'm about to share with you, but let me tell you why this is so raw. Look, I'm just filming this off my computer because for me in my life, there's always a feeling that moves me. And that's not always. In the past 10 years, especially in this past 10 years, my life has been about following a feeling. And you could call that living intuitively, following your flow, whatever it is, right? Following your gut feel. For me, I just wanted to be tapped in to that feeling of feeling alive, right? You know that feeling where sometimes you feel to do something, you don't know why, but in saying yes to it, you feel a sense of excitement, a sense of aliveness, just energy. Do you know that feeling? That's a feeling I want to tap into. And it's not a feeling that's always there in terms of excitement, energy. In truth, when you're really following that feeling, it's quite neutral, but there's this feeling of like intense and deep connection. I wouldn't even say intense, just a sense of really deep connection. So I want to share this with you because this journey, right, of what I'm sharing with you right now in this vlog, this is the feeling was to start. I'm not set up right. I don't have cameras and mics, and I'm in my office here in Bondi, and I don't know, we're going to see where it goes, but I need to get set up right. You know, I'm now going to need a camera, some mics. I'm going to be interviewing people. There's a lot I want to share with you guys and what I've taken away in the past 10 years in living mindfully and being able to live regardless of your circumstances. You know, when you look at your story financially, what you know of yourself, your skills and things, and you feel to do something, but because of what you know, you don't do it, or because of what you can see in your circumstances, you think, that's not possible. But you feel to do it. Have you ever had that sense of feeling this love to do, be something in your life, but a moment later, your thoughts tell you why you can't. Sometimes they tell you why you can too, but a lot of the time they tell you why you can't and you just let it go. Well, I want to tap into that and tell you why you can, and also give you tangible ways in which to stay in that space of the possibility of allowing what you feel to do, be, have in your life to unfold. That has been my life for the past 10 years, and I know I've integrated that because although it's not about how my life looks, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not some guy that if you went and looked at my life, oh yeah, he must be killing it and everything. My life moves around in different ways, you know, financially, you know, in my business as well, like in the way that's set up, career-wise, relationship, like I'm no different, right? But it's my state of mind, my state of being, which has allowed me to experience everything for what it is. Like, and I really mean that, for what it is, and not let that influence me emotionally and stop me from being myself as best I can. I'm not perfect. Of course, sometimes I fall off and I go into thought, emotion, things like that. Of course, yes. But for the past 10 years, I've found a very special way of life and I've been supporting hundreds of people to do the same. It became my way of life because 10 years ago, just to give you some background for the people that don't know me, and you probably want to connect in with this story just to give you some context to who the hell am I and what the hell am I doing talking on here and sharing this with you. Well, yeah, about 10 years ago, this way of life started for me because 15 years prior to that, from the age of 14, I suppose I had this curiosity of life. Why am I here, Mum? I would say, why am I alive at 14? Why ask me questions like that? So yeah, I had this curiosity for life. I left home actually at 14 because my family broke up and I decided I'd leave home. I wouldn't say decided, I think it was more of a reaction at that point. Maybe I'll discuss that at some point. But at that point, I left home and for whatever reason found myself getting into meditation, Reiki, energy work from the age of 14 to around 17. And that kicked off this intriguing self-awareness journey for me. And I also found some pretty amazing things that I didn't come to understand till probably later in my life, in the past 10 years, right, of what I was experiencing back then. But what happened was that I went on this journey where it was all about self-awareness, getting to know myself energetically in those years. But then I came out, it then became about personal development, getting the tools, the techniques. I left school and it was all about success and finding security in my life. I came out of school and went into life and was like, well, I better become someone. I better make it now. And I fell into property at a young age, did very well, then bought into a nightclub at 23, started partying and having this crazy life. So I feel like I've lived a bunch of lives up until the age of which I am now, which is 38, just turned 38. So during my 20s, though, I had this, crazy life where I went from, as a teenager, being really connected in my late teens to then using what I had developed in those few years and then trying to bring it out into my life and got completely consumed by success, completely consumed by looking for security, abundance, freedom, love externally. And I was backing this up through a lot of the personal development that I was doing, even the self-awareness work that I was doing. So I was still continuing my search and I was looking outside of myself in different techniques, philosophies, gurus, teachers, all sorts of things. If you ask me about certain things, I had done it, studied it. It was a pretty interesting part of my life. I felt I even had this cockiness to me where I was one of those spiritual people, self-awareness people that could see what was going on for everyone and understood things from NET, NLP, you name it, human behavior stuff, all sorts of things. But I didn't feel I could truly integrated it. I'd gone and studied all these different things and philosophies and under different teachers. But then what happened, and also my life, because I had the success too, I was like, yeah, I'm killing this. But then I started at the end of my 20s to feel this insecurity arise. And it came from looking at people that had what I thought I wanted in life, and what they had was more of everything that I had, and where I was at was really amazing. My mid-20s, like I'm talking properties, wealth, everything, friendships, career, all sorts of things, relationships. But the place in which I built it from, and I realized this later on, was from a place of lack. From my teenage years, when I left school, it became about acquiring things so then to feel secure. Because I didn't feel I was enough. I don't know if any of you relate to this, but I was told that you must go attain these things so then to feel complete. Even in the work that I was doing, I found this very subtle spiritual ladder that I was climbing to get to a point so then I would feel like I had attained fulfillment. And I was doing that in really subtle ways. And it wasn't until later in my 20s where I actually got really depressed because my insecurity grew. And although I had everything, I started feeling really lost. And a few things happened in my story and my business and things where I started to feel really lost and insecure. And I got really depressed to a point where I almost took my life. And in that moment, though, something happened. There was something that happened when I was 28 years of age. And it was probably the darkest moment of my life, but it's something that freed me in that moment, and what happened to me in that moment, that evening, and probably one of the darkest moments of my life, just had me touch and feel something that had always been there, something that no one can give to you, that's already within you, something in who you already are, right? And I didn't even know this at the point, but the feeling that I felt, that I found myself in, just made me realize nothing mattered. But at the same time, I felt such a deep connection to everything, right? And I just wanted to live for that. And I kind of said to myself at that point, show me how to live this. Otherwise, obviously, I don't want to be here anymore. So my life became about that. My life became about living for this feeling. So I went and made my life all about moving from that space, from that feeling. Like I said, if you want to call that intuitive living or following your gut, whatever. I just wanted to be connected to that space and stay connected. So I started to notice in my life, pretty much almost within weeks, the things that were having me disconnect from that. The things I was doing in my life where I didn't feel I was being myself. It's probably the best way to put it. And also in that space, my last mentor showed up, which was amazing. And he was all about that. And I never come across anyone in 15 years that was talking about simply, I know this sounds silly because of course people talk about, but being yourself, but living from that place. What does it mean to really show up and live and participate in life? Not to make that into a structured thing. So it was really profound what happened, but 10 years ago that journey started. And I started to follow my feeling. And the way that started is I left behind what I knew. I walked out of my company, gave it to my business partner. I literally just made it all about following a feeling, and I thought I was going crazy. I was like, what am I doing? Jamie, you crazy guy. Following this feeling into the unknown, literally. And it was scary. It was, at times, really, really hard to follow this feeling and to follow this way of life that I saw around me no one was interested in, because everyone was more at looking at attaining security and freedom and things from life, from what they were doing, not from who they were being. So, it ruffled feathers. My family thought I was going nuts. And in my story, because I left things financially, I went from this, secure place to, like, in the story, financially, everything crumbled. I went into almost $250,000 hard debt, and the funny thing was, though, and you may not find this funny, I then somehow, although that was happening, I started to feel more alive than I ever felt in my life. Not only did I feel alive, all of a sudden I started traveling more. I started doing more things that I loved, things that I never knew that I loved. This is when I started writing. This is 10 years ago. I started to write what I was experiencing, and people saw what I was writing, like, Jamie, this is different. You got to share this. So I started to share it. Then I got asked to speak. Then from speaking, I got asked to mentor. And this is why I'm here, right? But it's not about what I do. It's about what I was connecting with within myself when writing, when speaking, when mentoring. I didn't have to think. It would move through me. And then I started to see this and experiencing this in my life, in my finances, relationships, other areas, health. And I'm still on that journey in those areas of my life and going deeper and deeper into who I'm being, right? Through all of my life to this day. But what I've grasped in the past 10 years has been nothing short of magic. And I don't know why now this is the time where I'm like, okay, I want to bring this out. Maybe, I don't know, who cares why, but I just feel that. And this is why I wanted to bring you on this journey of let me just start, because a lot of people in their lives, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a vlogger or whatever, it could be anything you feel to do in your life. A new business, a new project, a new venture, you might want to move, a new relationship, whatever it is. Or, we get stuck on the first step. We get stuck on moving. For me, it's don't get stuck. It's show up. Use what's in front of you. And I'm doing exactly that. I've opened up my computer and I'm using what's in front of me. Did I know I was going to start a vlog? Yes. That's why my YouTube channel, I did some art. It's always been me. It's only me that's been doing all of my work over the past 10 years because I didn't want to complicate things. I've kept it simple, right? People and how I built my mentoring business has happened very naturally. I mentor people all around the world, groups, one-on-ones, and I love it. It's something that is not being work for me. It's something I cherish so much. So I want to bring you into my life and how these things have happened. And I thought the best way to do that is to start right here on this vlog. You're going to get a direct experience with me in how these things unfold. I don't have any plan for this vlog. I have a feeling of, yes, I want to interview these people that I've come across in the past 10 years, clients, friends, the people I've met. I want to show you how there are people living in the unknown and living this way of life, this mindset that is within us all. It's something we can tap into, but we must be willing to leave the mind that we know, the finite mind, the limited mind, and use our minds rather than our mind use us. So that's the journey I want to bring you on, and this creative process in itself, I'm sure you will see that come to light. I didn't wait till it's perfect and have everything set up, but let's see where it goes. I love stuff that's raw and real, and you'll get that from me. I'm not a perfect speaker. I'm not a perfect vlogger, but you know what? I got something to share. And what is that? This feeling of being alive for no reason. It's something to which all of us need to tap into, because I see things in the world and where I got to within myself 10 years ago, and that was scary. It was scary, and I think it's something that needs to be spoken about more so that more of us come alive and do what's in our hearts, because I feel that people being themselves in their life to do whatever it is that they feel to do, not because others are doing it or they want to keep up or succeed, whatever, just to do it for no reason, but because it's what they love to do. I feel that the more of us that do that, you will see change come into this world more than ever before, because there are people being themselves. When you meet someone that's being themselves, they inspire you, they ignite something within you, they remind you of something that feels alive within yourself. So that's what I hope this Limitless Living vlog channel is about. I feel like I'm going to be doing this weekly. Stay tuned. You'll know, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to this channel. If you love what this is about and you know people that have been following me or whatever and you want to share this, send them, comment. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like, hey, I can feel something. There's something here unfolding with this guy and I want to come along for the journey. Cool. And maybe if you want to give me a thumbs down, I don't care. But it's up to you. For me, I'm free already in bringing this out. And I can't wait to bring out what I feel is going to support people to essentially be themselves and really do what they love. You know, really do what they love. Not for any reason, not because it means to an end, not because they want to change things in their life, but because they are free to do that fucking now. Just like I am. Just like you are right now. So I look forward to sharing this journey with you. I can't wait. It started. Here we go. I look forward to connecting with you in the next perfect moment. Lots of love. Take care.